Okay, week 9 of marathon prep. The last 2 weeks have been massive. My coach sort of described it as it wasn't necessarily peak week. It was more of sort of like a mini peak phase throughout the past sort of, I'd say 14 to 18 days roughly. I've done back-to-back weeks, 80Ks last week, 81Ks this week. 2 of the biggest weeks I've ever run. This video is going to be more of a sit down, chat through the week, talk about what happened, and so we'll start with Monday. So the thing is that as the weeks progress, they look more and more the same. And so Monday is always a 1 hour easy run and then lower body strength training, usually in the afternoon, depending on when I do my run. Tuesday, 40 minutes with 4 times 20-second strides. That's a pretty typical Tuesday session, 40, 45, 50 minutes with 6 times 15-second strides. In this case, 4 times 20-second strides. Wednesday, which was one of my key sessions of the week. So it was 5 times 5 minute at threshold. It was a 25-minute warm-up, and then we went into the 5 times 5 minutes at threshold with a 90-second rest recovery jog in between. So we're aiming for around 4:15 per kilometer pace for all of those reps, and for all of them I hit either 4:14 or 4:13, so just under the threshold there. Thursday, I had an optional 30-minute recovery run, which I did, and seeing any run on the calendar that is sort of 30 to 40 minutes is just like a dream, because those runs are just like you may as well just be like sleep running at that point. They're just so easy to get through. So nice to see something so simple on the calendar. Friday, 45 minutes, zone 2, another pretty standard run. Earlier in the week, my coach actually put a little note just saying no days off, because I haven't taken a day off running for a long time, basically. And I think I'll probably get a rest day sometime next week. And also on Friday, something that I wanted to sort of talk about today is running is a very individual sport. And so what I like to do is I try and surround myself with people who are better than me at running. So obviously like people like my coach, there's a couple guys here in Christchurch, Oscar Baines, who runs the Front Runner Colombo. He is an incredible runner. And then there's also another guy who I caught up with on Friday. His name is Cameron Avery. So last year, Cam finished 3rd at the Gold Coast Half Marathon. He ran 62 minutes, and that was enough to qualify him to go to Latvia to run in the World Half Marathon Champs. He ran 63 minutes there, and then later in the year, he made his marathon debut in China and ran 2 minutes and 12 seconds. So I caught up with Cam on Friday for one of his sessions. He's running the Vienna Marathon in 3 weeks' time. And so I went along, filmed some clips, talked to him a little bit about his goals heading into Vienna. And so here it is.
So what's the session this morning, bro?
Got some threshold miles, just probably the second most important session of the block. It's not a big session by most marathoner standards, but pretty big for pretty conservative training standards. So I'm just doing out mile, 60 to 90 seconds recovery, back a mile, and aiming for threshold heart rate, but probably something between 255 and 3 flat for the reps, as in 255 pace. I entered the block with the expectation and the goal of qualifying for Paris, so running 2:08:10, and that would also be good enough to break the New Zealand record. After some setbacks, I was worried that my expectations would have to change and that our goals would have to shift. But in the last couple of weeks, my confidence has come right back, and that's huge for me. I'm a very confidence-based runner, and so now the goal is right back where it started, 2:08:10. Let's see if we can make it happen. go. 442, 448, 443, 444, 441, 443, with about 70 to 80 seconds of rest, varying as I feel. That's nice. That's really good.
That's good.
Yeah, time for Vienna.
And then on Saturday, we had another key session. So it's a little bit messy in its makeup, but I'll break it down. So good morning. We have officially made it to peak week, or as my coach is sort of calling it, it's like a peak mini block, I guess. It's sort of like probably about 14 to 18 days of pretty hard running. So we are on to our last big Saturday workout. So last week you saw we had the 2x12k. This week we have 20-minute warm-up, and then 7k at marathon effort, 2k float, 5k at marathon effort, 1.5k float, 3k at marathon effort, 1k float, 2 kilometers at half marathon effort, 20-minute warm down. And so the floats are about 30 to 40 seconds slower than marathon pace, so about 5:07 to 5:15. So just sort of been going through the motions this morning, doing the majority of things I do pre-run, which is get hydrated and get fueled. So in here I've got 2 scoops of electrolytes, 1 scoop G1M Sport. I've had the 2 crumpets you saw, a banana. I'm gonna have a Go bar right now, and then I've got my gels in here. I didn't really ration the Go gels very well, so I've got 1 Go gel and the rest of them walking. And then I also have my gear laid out here, so I'll do the warm up, 20-minute warm up, 20-minute cool down in the OG 1080s. We'll do the efforts and super complete B4s, and then I just have my running gear here. I pulled the sleeves out today. I'll probably wear them for the first 7k, see if I like them. I've worn them for my last 2 marathons, but don't really remember what they feel like.
So we can do a 20-minute warm-up, and then into the big stuff. Chad's doing, what are you going to do, 50 minutes?
Yeah, I don't know. See how we go. See how I'm feeling.
50 minutes at half marathon effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, should be a good morning.
So obviously put all of the stats on screen so you can see it. Hit faster than marathon pace for the majority of the kilometers. And then one thing I was really happy with was to close out those last 2 kilometers at half marathon pace, which I'm not really too sure what my half marathon pace is, to be honest, but 4:21 and 4:18 for the last kilometer. I'm just like pretty stoked to have a 4:18 kilometer in my legs at about the 25k mark of a workout like that. And I don't think that's something that I would have had this time last year. So the last 2 big sessions that I've had, I don't want to call them easy, but I definitely performed better than I expected, which gives me really good confidence, obviously, leading into these sort of last 3 weeks of the block. And then finally on Sunday, Sam and I and the dogs, we headed out to Bottle Lake Forest and did a 45-minute recovery run out there. I thought it'd be nice to just do it on some nice soft trails and get my feet off the concrete, basically. Alright, Sunday, and We got a 45-minute recovery run today, but we're going to go out to Bottle Lake Forest and sort of run some trails, which should be nice and easy on the legs. But New Balance sent me over these, they're the More Trail V3 in this like new colorway. They are a wide fit, so I'm not sure how that's going to go, but we'll give them a crack today, ideally with the trails and these nice, soft, comfy shoes. Should make for a nice little recovery run. Had to switch my shoes. I was having issues with the top of the tongue digging into my foot based off the back of yesterday's session where shoes were digging in a bit. We're making a quick pit stop. Sam wants to get a banana for some fuel.
So nice to get something soft underfoot, especially after just running on concrete roads for so long. Like, it actually just makes this so much more enjoyable, and overall, like, my legs don't really feel that fatigued from yesterday, which is pretty amazing. So you'll take the small wins during peak week.
My legs are pulling up pretty well after each session, so I was definitely cooked after some of these sessions last year, but this time around I'm finding that I'm just used to that type of volume, and my body is recovering faster and faster. So really happy to close out another big successful week of training. The only thing I would probably say is that I've sort of got some sore spots on the top of my feet where my shoes were digging in yesterday during Saturday's big session. So I've just found that it's been a little bit irritating going on the recovery run today, especially. So I think I'm probably going to have to wear some different socks moving forward. I wore some pretty thin socks on Saturday, and yeah, definitely left my feet in a bit of pain. So probably something I need to look at. If you've got any recommendations on socks, I've been wearing Belega, but I kind of like the crew length sock, which they don't make in white, I don't think. So if you know any quite cushioned crew socks that come in white, let me know. I'll probably need something relatively fast. Anyway, thank you for all the support on the series so far. I'll see you in week 10.